Okay, good evening everyone and welcome to our webinar Supporting the Rap Stars. So just to give you a bit of intro before we actually start this webinar, It Works started in 2001 and is now a debt-free company expanding all over the world. And a lot of women and men have joined this business and are doing absolutely amazing things for their families' lives, and one of the reasons why I joined the business. So at the start, I know that some men are quite skeptical and some are nervous what they're getting involved in, and some in truth, find it quite difficult seeing their women all of a sudden grow in confidence and have a purpose after being stay-at-home mums for so long and maybe not feel so needed as they used to feel. So this webinar really is bringing to you information so that you can understand a little bit more about what it's like when you actually stick in this business and get your woman to stick in this business to help excel their business, really. So let me just go through a couple of things that, again, will help you understand. So you may know a lot about the company and you may know just a little bit about the company. So that's what I said. It started in 2001 and is now a debt-free company, and they're expanding literally all over the world. It came to UK quite recently, and that's something that I'm really excited about. And I know it's been in Canada 4 or 5 years, I believe. I know there's people on the call tonight that will share more about that. And it's one of the fastest growing companies in the United States. Exclusive products, so you won't find products like this anywhere else. It Works offers the first naturally based body contouring line basically in the world today. And also it's featured in Hollywood, so it gives you a little bit of an idea about why you should support the rap stars. So who's joined on the call tonight? So I'm Louise Harris and I'm out here in the UK and I'm joined by my fiance Tosin Ogunwusi. We're also joined by Brett Johnson, who is the husband of Kirsten Johnson, who's an Ambassador Diamond in Canada. We're also joined by Lindsay and Chad Winters, who are also out in Canada, and Lindsay's a double diamond within the company. And last but not least, we have Louise and Kevin Milner. Kevin's on the call tonight, and Kevin's a distributor with me here in England. So first of all, I'm going to speak to everybody on the call, but first of all, I'm going to speak to Brett. Brett, like I said, is the husband of Ambassador Diamond Kirsten Johnson and very much involved in the business. And I know it's very much a family business for them. And I'll just say that Kirsten, I know, is an absolute inspiration. She's got the site Unstoppable Mother, and she was the first Ambassador Diamond in Canada. So I'm really excited to be part of the overall Team Unstoppable. So welcome to the call, Brett.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, first of all, Brett, when and how did Kirsten actually get involved with It Works, and what were your thoughts initially when she actually decided to join the business?
She joined, I'd say, I think it was 4.5 years ago she joined. She was on mat leave, and we really didn't want to have her go back to, having to be a school teacher with, teaching someone else's kids while we had to put our children in, like a day home or something and have somebody else essentially raise our kids. I was working in the oil field. Um, I'd been working there for probably, I guess it would have been at the time, 6, 7 years. And yeah, my thoughts when she initially joined, I wouldn't say that I jumped all over it by any means, but she basically came to me with the opportunity and said, I have this thing that I found, and it's called this wrap. And first thing I asked her was, how much is this? We went over the details because I'm a guy, so I kind of, first thing I ask for is all the details. How much is this going to cost me? All that stuff. She told me, we discussed all that stuff, and I said, go ahead, do it. Like, let's see where this can take us. I wouldn't say I was exactly skeptical, but I wasn't, fully hoorah rah kind of thing. I was kind of let her do her own thing and kind of see where it would take her. So, yeah, that's pretty much how she got started and involved
Awesome.
with
So
this
I
company.
know that you're very much involved in the business now. So when did it kind of get to the point where you got involved, and how would you say it's changed your family's lives?
I would say that I fully got involved two years ago. Come this December, that's when I quit my full-time job. But I would say I fully came on board probably. I would say probably a year into it. I started more supporting her and, more or less, I guess, promoting it and stuff like that around my workplace. But full time, it was 2 years ago, like I said, come December. And that's when I fully got into this, quit my job, and kind of, honestly, Kirsten wasn't even ready for me to quit my job yet. I guess I had seen, I kind of seen more of our vision at that point, and I kind of had the feeling I knew that this was the right company at the right time and just the right opportunity for us. And I really disliked my job, so that kind of played into it too. But yeah, 2 years ago, and how did it change my family's life? Oh, where do I start? First thing I did was threw away my alarm clock. So, I mean, that was probably one of the best things to start off. Just the fact that we own our own time. We get to go on vacations whenever we want. Um, when I'm the dad when we're going to drop off the kids at preschool. I'm the only guy there. Well, it's all moms there because all the dads are, all working. Um, I'm the one that's playing in the backyard, teaching my son how to play baseball, teaching him how to play hockey, while everyone else is working. So I mean, it's dramatically changed our lives in the fact that we own our own time and that I'm able to, be that role model for our kids and, just kind of teach them the ropes. So I think that's the most special thing that I've found since we've gone both full time, for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. So in terms of obviously we hear a lot of stories, and I think for some people hearing that people can earn like 30 or $40,000 a month is just way far off, and they kind of go, yeah, it's impossible, no one can do that. What would you say to those people?
Um, you know what? I hear a lot of stories from people, people that are working two jobs and, two, three, four jobs a day, and, it's not getting them anywhere. They're basically working those two or three jobs and they're still broke. A lot of people who can't afford to go on vacations, whether they can't afford to or their boss doesn't let them, their job doesn't allow them to, people who live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And the first thing I ask those people is, how much do you enjoy that? How much do you enjoy spending all that time busting your butt to basically, what you're doing is creating a dream. You're helping build the dreams of your boss and, all those other CEOs that you're working for. When this opportunity provides us the chance to start building our own dreams. So, I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to. It works provides us with the car to drive us to financial freedom and to get us home with our families. So I mean that's probably the advice that I kind of give to people is I kind
Awesome.
of paint the big picture for them, and you know I ask them, if I was to ask you 10 years down the road and tell you that you would be at the same place you are right now, would you be happy doing that? I mean, ultimately, a lot of people wouldn't. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
Awesome. So,
so I'd
in
say
terms
that's,
of helping men, obviously, you allowed kind of Kirsten to roll with this for a year or two before you really got involved. So, what tips would you give men to help their women really grow their business at the start? So, they've told their man, oh, I'm going to join It Works and I really want to do this. And maybe, the guy's slightly skeptical or slightly, not on board or whatever it might be. What things would you say to the guys to really help and support the women grow this business?
first thing I always say is definitely kick the ego aside, because, I mean, as a man, I know it's hard for, you know, to picture your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance, making more money than you. A lot of it comes down to ego. Um, I think to help support them, I mean, do the simple thing. Like start off with the simple things. Whether it's helping with the dipping, vacuum, helping taking the kids out while she, does her thing with the business kind of thing. I mean, stuff like that goes a long way. And then, eventually, as she starts growing, you're going to start growing and you're going to start to find what you're good at. I mean, maybe you're good at blitzing, maybe you're good at talking to people, or maybe you're good on the computer and doing that kind of stuff. Eventually, you're going to want to find what you're really good at. But definitely to start with, I would say just the simple things. I mean, when I started, helping Kirsten with the stuff like washing the dishes, as much as I really dislike doing that, it freed up a lot of time for her to be able to do the things with her business and grow it to where we are now. And I mean, that was honestly probably one of the biggest things for me to try and get past. And it was the ego thing because I'm like a lot of guys, I'm not going to do the dishes. I'm not going to, vacuum, I guess. But ultimately, that honestly goes a long, long way in this business to helping support them and just be there, when they need to talk or when they want to vent about something. Because I mean, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs too. This isn't all gravy. This isn't, everything's not going to be all perfect. But just always be there for them and help them wherever you can. Whether you think it's just something small, it could be something really big for them. So absolutely.
Excellent. And the final question, just for now, is how long would you say it took Kirsten to start climbing the ranks to get to diamond and then obviously, further up the actual ranks? Because I hear quite a lot of people saying, I'll believe it when I see the money. I'll believe it when you start climbing. I'll believe it when you get a distributor. So how long did it actually take Kirsten to start actually climbing the ranks?
Kirsten climbed pretty fast, actually. I mean, she climbed diamond. She climbed the diamond within, I think it was probably 3 to 4 months. Honestly, I don't even know the exact timeline, other than
Yeah.
it was quick because I wasn't really um, focused too much on it. I was kind of like, yeah, I was kind of along the same thing. I'll believe it when I,
Yeah.
start seeing a little bit of money kind of thing. I'll start, thinking it's more serious then kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say it was probably 3 months, 3 to 4 months when she climbed the diamond. But I specifically remember when she got to triple diamond, and that's kind of when we started seeing those big checks, like those $9,000, $10,000 checks, and that's when I'm starting to think, like, wow, this isn't like play money anymore. This is
Hmm.
serious money. But in saying that, when she got to triple diamond, I thought, we're like coasting here. Like this is awesome. We're just gonna keep going higher and higher. But that's when we hit a roadblock, and I mean, like everything, you're gonna go ups and downs. We dropped all the way down to, like $2,000, and I started thinking, maybe this isn't all what it's cracked out to be. But ultimately, it came down to what we were doing, like what Kirsten was doing. She, almost took her foot off the pedal, and as soon as you take your foot off the pedal and you don't work it, and you're not out there doing the things that got you to those levels, I mean, you're gonna go back down. So um, you definitely want to keep on the pedal and just keep on going.
Awesome. And I've just got an extra question that I've just thought of for you, because you're obviously been
Okay.
in the business more than probably the rest of the guys on here. That, I know there's some people in some of the Facebook groups that have been sat on distributor and executive and maybe even Ruby for quite some time. And they probably get it harder from their guys of because they're not seeing the results so quickly. What would you say to their men who are probably telling them to can it and ditch it and there's no point in doing it anymore because there's no money in it? What would your advice be for those people?
I think that goes back to you know, is what you're doing right now, is that going to get you to where you want to be in 10 years?
Yeah.
Um, it's like I said, it's not all gravy. You're not just going to start making those big checks right off the bat. Just keep on supporting her. Give your, maybe set a goal of giving her your full support for, maybe it's 2 years or something like that, and just, going hard, because I mean, not everyone's going to grow. Everyone's going to grow at their own pace. Um, it's ultimately what you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. Um,
Totally.
and like I said, there's always going to be roadblocks, but you got to keep on trucking, because this isn't just going to be skyrocketing to the top, no problem. I mean, you look at some of the top leaders in this company, and a lot of them, sat at executives, sat at Ruby. I know one of the top money earners who makes, well into 6 figures per month right now. I know her really well, and she sat at Ruby for, like a year, and then eventually it just kind of all after all those plant seeds were planted, it just all grew, and now she is where she is. So just stick with it and make a goal of giving it your all for 2 years, and don't just give it half your attention. Give it your all for 1 or 2 years and see where it takes you. So
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Brett. So I'll come back to you
Absolutely, you're welcome.
shortly. So thank you very much. So next up, I just need to unmute them. I have Chad on the line. I'm just going to unmute the call. So I've got Chad and Lindsay. Now, Chad is Lindsay's husband out in Canada as well. And Lindsay's a double diamond and a true inspiration to me as well. She actually introduced me to the business over Facebook, ironically. And I remember the evening that I actually joined the company. I think we were chatting on Facebook for about 3 hours. And I went from wanting to try the wraps to become a loyal customer to sign up as a distributor all in one night. So I now actually class her as my friend, and I speak to her most days on Facebook, and that's what I really love about this company is, the fun, the friendships, and the freedom. So, Chad, welcome to the call, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
So, just tell me, how long's Lindsay been with the company, and what were your thoughts when she told you that she was going to get involved?
I believe it's about 6 months now. My first thoughts were it was more of a kind of a thing to fill her spare time in while she was doing her full-time job as a personal trainer, but eventually it slowly started taking over, and now she's scaling down those hours, and it works as filling in more time.
Awesome. And how did you feel, like, what were your views of the company when she first started? What did you know about the company yourself?
I just known she had a few other friends that were distributors, double diamonds or triple diamonds, and you know what their earnings and how long it had taken them to get to those levels, that sort of thing. Lindsay's very goal orientated, so I knew that she'd probably be pretty successful at the business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So how would you say that It Works is helping your family, and what would you say to other families that are thinking of joining this business?
Pretty much the same thing that Brett was just saying. Like we took a month off this summer, and we were camping for a month and holidaying down in the United States. Lindsay's now going on another trip in December, and we're going to California for 2 weeks in February.
Awesome. Brilliant.
So yeah, just lots of financial freedom.
Yeah, definitely. And I know she keeps herself busy with her personal training business and parties. I know she's, travelled for hours to go to wrap people at parties and wrapping people in your home. And I hear that people from your workplace have even come back at lunchtimes to get wrapped. How would you say it's affected your family, other than the holidays and things like that? What effect would you say it's had on your family by Lindsay being involved in the business?
Well, obviously we've lost some family time over the last 6 months, but hopefully we gain it, in the next short time.
Absolutely. And I think that's the interesting thing, because Lindsay's obviously been in this a few months and Kirsten and Brett have been in it a few years. So ultimately it is often we put in more at the start, where then you can enjoy it a lot more further on. So that's awesome. And how long would you say it took you guys to see reward from this business from a money point of view?
It was 5 weeks when she got to her diamond position, I believe, and she earned
Awesome.
her $10,000 bonus.
Fantastic. And
So within that 5 weeks was kind of when it really the reality had set in that
yeah,
it was
sure.
achievable.
So it's quite quick for you, which is awesome. So what advice would you give to men who are not necessarily active in the business to support their ladies in making the business actually grow?
Give it time, be patient, give it at least a year, see how things go. But most of all, just like Brett said, be patient, and some months are obviously better than others.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you coming on the call. Really, really appreciate it. I know you're busy as well.
Thank you.
So, Lindsay, I know you're on the call as well, and I personally can't thank you enough for the support that you give me and my team. I know you've invested hours and hours helping us guys. So, my question to you is similar to what I asked Brett. What would you say to the men who have girlfriends, wives, fiancés in this business where it's maybe not growing as quickly as they'd like it to, and maybe they're not seeing the big money just yet like you did?
Um, I mean, just knowing that the big money is there to be made. I mean, Chad had already said that I'm very goal oriented. So when I see that it's able to be made, my thought is, okay, well then let me make it, and I kind of just do what I need to. So, um, I needed Chad just to support me and just help me out. Basically, we always talk about like, okay, what's going on today? What's the plan? And every time that there's some kind of rap thing, which is every day, he always just supports me and says, okay, and it's worked into the schedule, and it's just that kind of support is just priceless, because if my husband didn't believe in this and was constantly giving me negative feedback, well, this is taking too much time and that kind of thing, I honestly wouldn't be making the money I'm making right now, because I probably would have dropped out, because if my husband isn't going to support me in it, if I can't do it with him, well, then it's not worth doing, because we do everything for each other and with each other. So it was really important for me that he supported me. So I guess just be patient and know that the money's there to get. But I mean, it definitely does take time and hard work to get there, right? But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm just going to unmute Brett and Chad and Lindsay, so I can just get Kevin on the call. So next up, I've got Kevin. Now, Kevin's slightly different to the rest of the team, because Kevin actually saw the opportunity to join the business himself, and now he is a distributor with his wife, Louise. So welcome to the call, Kevin. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. So tell everyone what made you join It Works as a distributor.
I saw the opportunity. It was pointed in my direction by my good wife, and she said, we need to look at this. So I looked at it, thinking, yeah, I might be able to lose an inch or two. And the more that I looked into it, the more I thought I might be able to gain an inch or two in my wallet. So that's it was a two-edged thing. It was a win-win, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously we're building the team here in the UK, and I know, we're all looking forward to doing what the guys have done out in Canada. So what would you say you've noticed so far of being in the company, a month or two already?
Well, so far we have, initially I started to do this myself. I was doing some networking with friends and people that I know, and the interest within my industry was there, to be fair, but skepticism rules in the oil field, as I'm sure our earlier speaker will know. What I've done is I've moved it on, and I introduce is not the right word really, but I got Louise involved, my wife, and Louise is the real power behind the motor, if you like. She's the internet guru. She's the one that's positioning us so well on Facebook, and we're building our team together. So I'll get the guys on the coalface to actually try the wraps, and my wife Louise will be that develops the business online.
Brilliant. And what piece of advice would you give other men whose women want to actually join this business?
Just be there for them. Yeah. I suppose that the most obvious thing I did was I took Louise and a friend over to it was an exhibition type event where we had a stand. We didn't know what to expect, and it was a good 120-mile drive. So just be there, just do whatever needs doing, whatever needs supporting. Then if you can, accept the fact that one day she might just be the one that's paying your wages.
I love it. Awesome, thank you, Kevin. Okay, I'm going to unmute you so we can talk again. So finally, here's Tosin, who's my fiance. So Tosin, tell everyone your reaction when I told you that I was actually going to join this business, and what you thought about the opportunity that we have here in the UK.
Well, for me, it was very, very simple. I mean, for the opportunity for Louise, it was absolutely quite funny, because I've known Louise for many, many years, and she hardly drinks water. And when she came up to me and said, I've got this opportunity at the wrap, I've got to drink water for 72 hours, I was like, wow, you drink water for 72 hours? Sign up now. Go and do it. And for me, so it was really nice to see her actually take on board the product and use it for herself and start to get results. That was the result in itself. So my reaction initially was like, she's not going to do this. She's not going to actually drink water for 72 days. So for me, it was almost like a dare to her. But seeing it now, she's really grown from it. She's a leader in her field anyway. And once she sees something, we call her Mrs. Fix It. She's a go-getter. She wants to make things happen anyway. And she's been always been a free spirit, and she does whatever she needs to do. And I just support her. So I have no problems in supporting her in actually doing that. So I'm very proud. I'm very honored to see that it's not just helping her, but it's also helping so many other people as well. So, and that's our motto, because in our industry, we run a training company and we improve performance through people. So therefore, it's just a very natural step for us to support people in making things happen. So like I said, initially my reaction was one of laughter, because I thought, no, she's not going to start drinking water. She hardly drinks a bottle a day, let alone 3 bottles or 4 bottles a day. So has really worked in terms of that respect for her. So I was very happy that she was actually in the business.
Okay, and what advice would you give other men who either want to get involved or who's women who want to get involved in this business?
Well, my advice is twofold, because, I know we're concentrating on the men, but it's not just the men. But I'll start with the women. I mean, for men, we definitely need to remember that, once your woman has found something that she's really ignited about and passionate about and confident about and feels motivated, she's got a purpose, she's got a drive, then I think it's our job to actually support them. But I think what actually happens, like our first speaker said, was the fact that some men feel a little bit inferior because if their wives are doing better and they've always been there to support them, they feel slightly inferior to them. And it's all to do with ego and pride. And that's just a natural thing for us to have. But if we can overlook that and overcome that and put that aside and really support her, because I have one question. If your woman is doing well, then you must be doing well. If you're doing well, then she's doing well. So it's all about chunking up. What's the purpose of us being together? What's the purpose of us being a family? And when you chunk up high enough, you realize that you're both striving for the same goal and the same ideals. And if that's the case, then there's no need for ego, there's no need for pride. It's just supporting each other. Now, the other side of the coin for me is also, it's not just about the men, it's also about the women. Because sometimes if you're a woman and you're now starting to make all this money as well, your ego or your pride might get in the way as well. So you still got to respect your man. You still got to support your man as well. So it's got to be a two-way thing in that respect. But as far as the advice for men to go, support your woman, because if she's doing well, it makes you look good. And if you're doing well, it makes her look good. It's one or the other for me anyway.
Awesome. So there you go, everyone. You've heard from 4 different people on the call, and myself and Lindsay. So 2 people from Canada, 2 people from the UK. And I think it'll just give you a real insight into how, the rest of us are doing it in terms of running the business. And, sometimes life might be a juggle. You might be juggling babies and food and cleaning and laptops, and I'm often in this stage. I know recently my phone rang and I had my laptop on my knee and my food actually on the table next to me, and the kids had just gone to bed and my phone rang and I got up, dropped my laptop on my foot, God knows whatever else. And it does often feel like you're juggling because you want to invest the time in this business to start growing it. And I remember I was on a call recently where somebody was mentioning about the housework, and sometimes the dishes might get left because we're going to sign somebody up as a distributor or sign up a loyal customer or whatever it might be, and you might hear your other half living and breathing talking about wraps, but that's okay because eventually you will get to the rewards. And one thing that I'd say is it literally can take one person joining your team to absolutely make it explode. Whoever's team Kirsten joined, will be absolutely smiling from ear to ear because she's absolutely exploded her team. And I know I've had someone join in Northern Ireland who's doing an absolutely fantastic job, and I've got people here in England as well. And it can take just one person that makes this fly for all of a sudden it to go to that next level of, your partner actually going up in the ranks. And, remember the end goal. All of the people that have joined this company see the actual distributor earning rank, and you can see the people that have joined us on the call tonight in terms of where they are. And, you know, the money is there and it is possible and it's not some scam, because everybody on this call are genuine people and genuine family people that are earning that kind of money. And it's like what Brett said earlier, you know, you can either shrink your dreams or grow your income. And I know all of us want to basically grow our dreams and grow our income and actually live and, you know, basically have the money to fulfill all of the dreams and goals that we have. So hopefully that has given you a bit of an insight into kind of what we do and the support that we get from our partners. And if you've got any questions, feel free to Facebook any of us. I know we're all here for support. So good luck, and we'll speak again soon, no doubt. Take care. Bye bye.